Hey.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Hey up.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, I'm Ben, DivKid, and welcome to this video on the best patch tips for synthesizers and sound design music making from Superbooth 2025. And of course, Berlin and Superbooth is such a great time with lots of good gear, but more importantly, good people, full of creativity and ideas to share, and I wanted to capture that and put that in a video. At this point, I'd like to say that this video is sponsored by DONK. They ship worldwide and have been a huge supporter of the synth DIY scene and the wider community for a long time. This video is also sponsored by Signal Sounds, also shipping worldwide. They have a wide selection of lots of lovely gear. Now I've rounded up all of these patch tips and put them into a PDF that you can download for free or pay what you want if you'd like to support. Link to that down below, go grab the file. So without further ado, let's head across to Berlin for some patch tips.
Hey, my name is Max Ravitz. I also perform music under the name Patricia. And one thing that I really love to do that's inspired by Ryuichi Sakamoto is use a little bit of noise modulation applied to the filter to get this kind of slightly chaotic behavior on the cutoff. And I just think it adds a beautiful kind of texture to a lot of synth patches. And I find myself using that all the time, especially on the Prophet 5.
Hi, I'm Lavendel from Schreibmaschine Modular here in Berlin. And my patch tip today is try and make the harshest noise you can and then put it into a low-pass filter. The harsher the noise, the more square edges the filter has to grab onto, the warmer your ending drone will be.
Hi, I'm Matthew from Morphor. I have a patch tip if you're into BBDs like we are. So if you've got something like a KARPLUS strong type of module, what I like to do is take the output of the KARPLUS strong module, the string synthesis module, and put it back into the feedback loop, which creates a self-sustaining kind of oscillator, which is a little bit more complex than your typical oscillators. I use an LFO on the clock frequency of the BBD to give it a little bit of extra harmonics. And then I take that output, put it into a delay module to give it a little bit more depth and to make it sound kind of horn-like. So if you put it through an envelope with a VCA, you'll get some nice long horn-like sounds with lots of harmonic content.
Hey everybody, my name is Circo, and my patch tip is forget about all the patch stuff, just be the modulation. Modulate yourself, be the modulation.
Hi, I'm Adam from Venus Instruments, and my patch tip is if you've got a sampler which has an EOC end of cycle output, you can patch that into another channel on your sampler, and then and you patch out from the EOC into the play trigger of the other channel, and then you reciprocate that by going back from the EOC into the first channel. And then when you press play, you'll set up a counterpoint of the two samples, and if you can dynamically adjust your start, length, pitch, you can build up some really interesting rhythms and melodies.
One of my favorite patch tips is to take two gated envelopes, put them into a sequential switch, and use them as modulation to either pitch, filter, pulse width modulation, as well as clock.
Hi, I'm Ed from Schneider's Keller, formerly of Sonic State. One patch tip that I was talking to Ben about is granularizing trigger streams. So I did it with taking a trigger stream, putting it into clouds, and then taking that output and then dividing that and then getting a load of weird mashed up triggers. So yeah, that's a fun one.
Hey, I'm Walker from Make Noise. One thing I love doing is making a kick drum by molting my gate to both my envelope generator and also the linear FM input on my sine wave oscillator, and then changing the linear FM amount to just get these big kind of pulsing beaters to start the kick off. That's kick drum in 5 seconds, and I use it all the time.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Sign Mountain from the Colorado Modular Synth Society out here at Superbooth. My tip for you is to put that LFO through a wave folder and fold that modulation.
Hey up, here's my synth tip for you. Come over here. Right, what you do, right, is you take the output of a synthesizer. In the case of the Mother, you take VCA, right, and then what you do is you go into VCF cutoff, Now that's a CV input, isn't it? But you're taking the audio output. But you do that, and when you turn it up, you get a sort of raspy kind of cut-off modulation. It's audio rate, FM of the cut-off value, and it creates a feedback loop. There's lots of interesting interactions, and it makes this sort of sound a bit like an MS-20, and a bit weird and aggro. That's it. Thanks very much.
Hey folks, it's Calc here. So what's a modular tip to think about? Well, envelopes can be used positively or negatively. So if you've got a bipolar control for your envelope, try pushing that negative instead of always just going positive, and experiment around with that. It's great with pitch, great with filters, especially high pass, and all sorts of things. And that's a lot of fun to play with.
Okay, I'm Andy Marshall. I go under the name of AM Frequencies, and my patch tip for today is to give yourself an hour to come up with a patch from scratch, and then just put a donk on it, and the crowd will go wild.
Hello, I'm Roland of Making Sound Machines, and my favorite thing to do with modular is when you have a beat going, you put a little bit of spice into it by doing a little bouncing ball thing. And that way you get a little bit of off-grid spice into your patches.
Hey, it's Finn from Future Sound Systems. Top tip for you. Put a VCA before your filters, as well as maybe after. If you can whack the drive up on the filter loads, you've then got voltage control over that drive. So on our Tumblr Sculptor and even on Crick, you can do this, set the drive to like super maximum, set it to 11, and then put the VCA before it, so you've then got voltage control over it. You can LFO that, envelope it, sample and hold it, whatever you feel like doing. Top tip.
Hey, I'm Chris from Moog, and my synth tip is to use ring modulators. Ring modulators are the best. I love them very dearly. I try to get them on every Moog product as best I can. But yeah, ring modulators are so useful, as you know, there's always people talking about how you can never have too many VCAs. Mine is you can never have too many ring modulators, because they're just as good as VCAs, but they go negative. And you can use them to create alien metallic textures. You can do your Karl-Heinz Stockhausen thing and pipe the radio in through a ring modulator and get some really weird sounds. But you can also use them for tremolos, things like that. And you can also do a little trick that I learned from the dearly departed Rob Hordike, which was to use ring mod to simulate reverb by biasing a ring mod and having the ring mod having a VCA open, but then close at a negative position, which gives a really weird sound that sounds kind of like a pseudo reverb. It's a bit of a weird trick, but it's something you can do, and something I learned from Rob Hordike, and who's a wealth of interesting synth tips.
Hello, I'm Stijn Kuipers from This Is Not Rocket Science, and my patch tip for Superbooth 2025 is basically the anti-patch tip. Just plug in a patch cable, one side only, and keep the other one in the air. Just stick it somewhere against your rack, and then ideally have the other end patched into something resonant, like a reverb or a short delay, and just find out what tonalities you can hit by tiny bit of tuning, and then taking it somewhere, and then enjoy.
Okay, I'm John Mark from Apollo View, and my patch tip is try self-patching VCOs outputs themselves. So taking a complex waveform and repatching it back into the exponential FM on your VCOs. Give it a try.
Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you had a great time at Superbooth. Thank you for making that special if you could go. Thanks for watching this, whether you went or not. I hope you can make it sometime. It really is a wonderful event. Thanks for watching. Grab the PDF, head to patreon.com/DivKid to support what I do, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!